6:40.
6:40 nowadays. We'll call this meeting to order. You'll join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I believe we have an invocation from Sir Whitney.
Let us pray. Gracious God, we gather before you with thankfulness for your protection over our city, Ely. As we face this contained fire, we are grateful for the firefighters, first responders, city employees, volunteers, and neighbors who worked faithfully to protect our community. We ask your special blessing upon the mayor, city council members, and all officers conducting this meeting. Grant them wisdom, discernment, patience, and unity as they make decisions on behalf of the people they serve. Strengthening those still responding to the fire elsewhere. Bring peace to those who are concerned. Comfort those who may have experienced loss. And keep our families and homes safe. May you continue to watch over Ely and guide us to stand together with courage, compassion, and hope. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. We'll have the roll call.
Mayor Robertson,
Present.
Councilman Trask,
Here.
Councilwoman Van Camp,
Present.
Councilwoman Yeoman,
Present.
Councilman Perea,
Here.
Councilwoman Williams Harper,
Present.
City Clerk Lee, City Treasurer Trask, City Human Resource Director Ramirez, Public Works Director Craycraft, City Fire Chief Stork,
Here.
City Building Official Flannery, City Attorney Arabia,
Here.
Municipal Court Judge Hibbs, City Police Chief Henroyd, and that is all.
Thank you. With that, we'll move on to item 2, public comment. For this opening public comment, the council will entertain comments with reference to any agenda items only. If you have any general public comments, please save those to the public comment period at the end of the meeting. That being said, please state your name for the record and you will have 3 minutes. Is there any public comment?
Thank you, Mayor. George Chachas for the record. We are on your agenda item 8.1 and 8.2 in regards to Mr. Romero having paid on his 2 different properties, 770 and 794. I want to know if he paid the full amount in order to be considered for a refund for the balance. That wasn't very clear. I had to pay in full on properties that I had. The discrimination needed to stop. It appears your city clerk is selectively enforcing rules that pertain to some but not to others. Her continued intentional discrimination needs to stop or she needs to go. She claims to have an MBA, but it appears more of a BS degree. At numerous meetings, I requested a copy of the letter sent to individuals outlining the terms required of them for consideration to write off penalties and interest on their properties and then be eligible for the appropriate refund. To date, I haven't received anything. I provided 14 or more names. It's going to take that long, Mr. Mayor. On your agenda item 4, reports 8B, Public Works Director, who designed and approved that pork chop abortion at the T intersection of Orson and Campton? When was it put on the agenda and approved by the City Council? There's no safe walkway passage between the new curb and gutter. Some areas have a 2-foot drop. Who was the engineer? Who inspected that project? That's completely a pathetic design. Look at it. I've never seen such baloney in my life. Mayor, on your agenda item 9B4, you to consider the possible hiring of deputy treasurer. I thought that item was addressed when you hired Desiree Ramirez. And then you have the city clerk with an MBA. The council was mismanaging the city. You guys are top heavy. The city hall had, when I was in office, had a 6,000 population. Didn't have anywhere near what you guys have as far as administration and employees go. And you're now at 4,000. So as the population goes, hire more staff. On your agenda item 9B2 regarding the Porter Group securing federal and state funding, you had better start adhering to the city's Title VI compliance requirements. You've got to stop the discrimination. Mayor, on your agenda items, 6-1, Councilwoman Van Camp, 4-8, Public Works Director, 4-5, City Clerk, 4-10, City Engineer. There's nothing in their reports regarding who authorized the new installation connection of the sewer line connection and clean out at 785. I remind you, I had to pay to have my problem taken care of at 681 Parker. The blockage was on the city side, not on mine. To date, the city owes me $29,681.83. That includes penalties and interest. I remind you, federal law prohibits discrimination on any federally funded or assisted utility.
Thank you, Mr. Chachis.
The Bell project
Mr. Chachis, that's the end of your 3 minutes. Thank you.
at the open meeting.
Is there any other public comment? Hearing and seeing none, we'll close public comment and move on to item 3, mayor discussion for possible action, approval of agenda, including removal of agenda items. What's the pleasure of the council?
Move to approve.
Motion from Councilman Perea. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Councilman Trask. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried and so ordered. Item 4, city department reports. Fire chief.
Give you guys a little update from last week. You know, we were very busy. Like to thank my staff. They all stepped up. Everybody put in a lot of extra hours. We covered the ARF truck during all the fueling operations and aircraft operations that were going on. So we did that. I put in a lot of extra hours working through with the different teams were here. We had the Clark County firefighters who were here. Tremendous help. They went to a lot of public events. They helped with Scott's event they had down at the park. They helped with a lot of stuff we did at the station. They did a lot of pre-planning out there. They talked to a lot of residents, had a lot of interaction, helped people get a lot of stuff done on their homes. So everything in the end turned out very positive from it. They were able to be there to assist us should we had any extra call volume. When my staff was out at the airport, they were there to assist us with that. So along with that, we will be able to bill for all of the overtime hours that the staff put in. When we initiated, they got set up with Nevada Division of Forestry, who set it up, and so they have this being set up with White Pine County. So rather than duplicate all the things, so we had everything set up to the county. So now we'll bill the county. The county will in turn bill the state for our hours. So we'll get reimbursed for all the extra man hours, everything we put out. So we won't be out any loss of revenue or anything on that. So
Is there a way for us to properly thank Clark County?
it's kind of tough because I mean, I could try and get some context to everybody because we had North Las Vegas, we had Clark County, we had City of Las Vegas, and we had Henderson.
No.
It was a strike team made up of all the Southern Nevada fire departments. So I could try to get some contact information and be nice even if we just drafted up a nice letter on city letterhead that we send down. But we thanked them over and over again why they were here and when they were leaving, and they were more than happy to be here and help out. So really enjoyed the area, and they really enjoyed the 20-degree difference. So that was the biggest thing they liked.
I think even if we just write a letter that maybe they can frame and put it up in their places, that will be nice, so other people can see.
Let's buy a nice certificate today.
We could do the same for them.
We did. But you know, we were very lucky in the beginning of this, you know, with all of our local wildland resources, you know, with the BLM, you know, you got Ty Peterson and a lot of these guys that are here that have been here, grew up in this area, worked with the, you know, Forest Service and the BLM for, you know, 20, 30 years, some of these guys. So they know the history of that mountain, they know the weather, they know the topography, the terrain, the road access in and out, and the potential of, you know, what could happen. So thinking early, they got a lot of resources ordered early. So definitely averted a disaster, and having the weather change, getting a little bit of winds out of the north and having the winds basically just subside for a few days, which is pretty rare, definitely helped us out. So
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Thanks. Police Chief. Municipal Court Judge, who's with us tonight.
Last meeting, I told you that we put in for a grant to the ALC. Christie finished that up. Friday was the day it was due, you know, a long period to get it ready, but she got it done. We probably won't find anything out till December, because it doesn't really start till like January or March or something, so the money might come out. What we put in for would be about 8,000 total, which means we have about 1,800 to 2,200 that we'd have to put in, but we have the account.
And this is for camera systems for the court, yes.
Courtroom approvals.
Yeah.
Mainly it's putting in the new cameras. So that we can do a lot more Skype.
Right.
Because that's up here with the attorney so far away and stuff, it costs so much things to move. And sometimes we have people, you know, come through that get a ticket or whatever. They don't want to drive all the way back just to come over for a misdemeanor ticket and get their say. So that makes that possible. And that's one thing they're really trying to make availability to the courts to everybody as easy as possible.
Right.
And then we've got, we'll get a new computer because the one we have is on an older system, which BCT won't keep track of anymore. It's got the old version of whatever program it's got. It needs the new one. So, but that's included in it. So at the very most, probably about 2,200 will come out of the account. We've got an account that's that money and it's earmarked for spending in the courtroom. So really no extra money, no money out of what we already have in our accounts.
Okay. Any questions for the judge?
Matt?
Thank you, Judge. Thanks. City Attorney?
Nothing, thank you.
Nothing. City Clerk?
So Basin Engineering received notification last week that Pearson Brothers had value engineered by replacing by substituting some of the HVAC system equipment. So that reduces the project cost by $44,000. That just has to be evaluated by the mechanical engineer who designed it and approved by building official Flannery. So.
Okay. City Treasurer? HR Director? City Public Works Director? City Water Operator, City Engineer's not here tonight. City Building Official?
The old islands that started up on construction. We have the first inspection coming up Monday. I just want to let you know that's off of Great Basin Boulevard. It had the contractors board out here last Thursday. We had two criminal investigators, and they ended up issuing a misdemeanor citation. And they'll be working with him if he wants to go forward to get a license. If not, he could get a felony citation out of that. So we had two criminal investigators here. We have the director for the contractors board on Zoom and the licensing and the supervisor for investigations. And it was a 3.5-hour meeting with them. And so what we've determined is that they will help us move people along, get their license. There is a new license out there. It's called the B7. It's a B7 restricted license. Your B7 is a remodeling license. You can't enlarge a structure, but with the B7 restricted, they could remodel under that license. They can't do electrical, mechanical, plumbing, but it brings that handyman license up from 1,000 to 7,000. And this gives them a route to take. So they don't have to go in there and take any licensing tests, but they do have to do a 50 question on understanding of the law. So the business law and how you run your business and stuff like that. So it gets them in the door, and all they need is to prove that they've got 2 years experience. And so with that, then they can move into their B7 or even a B2 general contractor's license. So there was a lot going on with that. I'm working with the RPC to bring them into compliance with 278 for their mixed use for residential commercial areas. That was required to be done in March 1st of this year. But we should be, we'll bring this into the RPC, so you should be seeing something coming forward to you guys. All right.
Okay. Thank you. With that, we'll move on to item 5, the NNRY Foundation report. I'll make the disclosure that I am a part-time employee of the foundation, but this is not a voting item and I don't vote anyway.
Good afternoon, everyone. Locomotive 109 has been returned to service. We got the generator issues resolved and repaired. In July, we carried 2,182 passengers, 11% increase over last year. So we were pretty happy by that. So far this year, we've carried 7,182 passengers, and that's an increase of 3% over the previous year. The other big news is that the American Association for State and Local History awarded us their Award of Excellence for the work that we did on the Records Vault. And that's a very prestigious national award. And Con Trimble, our archivist, is going to be going back to Rhode Island to accept that award in September. So we're very excited by that. The other big thing that happened too is we had a television program from China visit us, On the Road China, and they basically did all of our hands-on history things. They operated the steam locomotive, they operated the diesel locomotive, they operate High Rail 18, and we even got them on the handcars too. So they have a very large following in China, so don't know where that's going to go, but it's pretty exciting. They actually only did a couple of places here in the US. They did Arizona and then came to Ely with us. So that was very exciting. Other than that, we're just chugging down the track. Does anyone have any questions?
Did we receive the records back from the state that left?
Not yet.
Do we have a plan to get them back? Did the plan that's acceptable to the railroad to get those back?
What we've done is Paul Anderson has been in contact with the AG, and the moment they're done scanning them, we are going to go over and pick them up and then bring them back and put them in the vault where they belong. So we asked, we don't have a timeline for that, and I'll ask Paul to nudge them again.
Any other questions?
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Item 6, reports, City Council. We'll start with Councilman Williams Harper.
Nothing at this time.
Councilman Priya.
Councilwoman Harper and I received an email today about the railroad that the appraisals for the freight barn and the armory had been completed, and it fell within the law for that agreement to go.
15%.
Yeah, to go forward. So I think the last big hurdle to bring all of those issues to an end has been cleared, but I shouldn't say that, should I?
Count your chickens.
We're chugging along.
We're chugging along, but what could have been a pretty big roadblock isn't, so
Yeah.
that's all I got.
Councilwoman Yeoman.
Yeah, I just want to express my appreciation for everyone who did work on the ward fire. So Sheriff and Chief Stork, your teams, I thought you guys did a really great job. I really wanted to highlight, I attended both of the community meetings on the fire, and at the one on Monday, our community received very high praise from the visitors that came over, from the other incident management team, the California Complex team. They had nothing but positive things to say about Ely, our citizens, our business owners, our local officials. So I think the community should just be really proud how we handled ourselves through this incident. And again, just thank you to everyone who worked on that.
Thank you. Councilwoman Van Camp.
Yes, I attended the public update meeting on the Ward Mountain Fire along with several hundred other people. And it was amazing how all the different agencies came together, delivered information, answered questions, and we left that meeting very informed. And many thanks to all the firefighters and agencies for all their hard and dangerous work. On Saturday, this past Saturday, trash troopers met. Our cleanup area was the golf course, Golden Gate, the highway down to the county shops. We collected 13 bags and debris. Patty and Steve Cobb removed trash and weeds and did the cleanup at the Jack Kaler Park, and they added an additional 6 bags. So season total to date, and it's out of, but we're at 346 bags. I would like to thank Jason Bath, who was on call, Neil Jensen from Robinson Mine, Jennifer Lee from Clerk, Councilman Perea and his brand new knee, and with all the help. We have 3 cleanups left, and September cleanups, we're looking to possibly concentrate on the Altman Street, the weeds. So we're going to get that cleaned up since we have a beautiful downtown. Dog park update. The new benches and the garbage cans have arrived. The Parks Department will start the fence in the next 2 weeks as they are still accommodating all the activities and the funerals and other events. And I also attended this morning's utility board meeting. And that's all I have.
Councilman Trask.
Nothing to report.
Okay, you have my permits as part of the backup there. I want the council to know that I did reach out to the mayors of Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, and Henderson, expressing appreciation for their fire department showing up. We had a good conversation. They were very happy to receive that. I sent some pictures, posted up. And again, it was nice, as Chief Stork said, the personal touch with these people going to those homes made those people feel a lot better about what was going on. They've been explained what they could do. They even got help from those fire departments cleaning out their gutters and helping them establish defensible space. I also want to thank the mine. They showed up with a large generator for our P7 in case something went down there. They were able to help us with that. It just, everybody showed up. I think we should feel very fortunate for the amount of equipment and personnel that we did get, given what's going on in the Western US with all the fires around. We got a quick response and a response, and they're still up there cleaning up. So I think things are great. So it was an exciting couple days there. Item 7, the Georgetown Ranch Quarterly Report. Are there any questions on that? Item 8, items for discussion, possible action of the Ely City Council as recommended by the Municipal Utilities Board. Item 1, Board Member, City Clerk Lee, discussion for possible action. Approval to remove past due utility fee penalties up to the amount of $1,407.81 from 794 Ely Street, number 1, Ely, Nevada, at the request of property owner Steve Romero.
I move to approve.
Motion to approve from Councilman Van Camp. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Councilman Williams Harper. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried and so ordered. Item 2, Board Member, City Clerk Lee, discussion for possible action. Approval to remove past due utility fee penalties up to the amount of $930.39 from 770 E Street, formerly 794 and a half Ely Street, Ely, Nevada, at the request of property owner Steve Romero. It's the pleasure of the council.
I move to approve.
Motion from Councilman Van Camp. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Councilman Yeoman. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried and so ordered. Item 9, the consent agenda. We have minutes from July 23rd, 2026, and bills from July 22nd, July 30th, and August 7th of this year. I'll make the disclosure that my husband is a member of the volunteer fire department, and some of these bills go to support that organization, but he doesn't get treated any different than other member of that organization, and I don't vote on this anyway.
And I'll disclose that my granddaughter is an employee of the City of Ely Fire Department.
Are there any questions on bills or corrections on the minutes? If there are none, I will entertain a motion to approve both.
So moved.
Councilman Trask, do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Perea. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried and so ordered. B, new business. Item 1, Mayor Robertson, Human Resource Director Ramirez, discussion for possible action, presentation of individual reports summarizing each appointed official's evaluation with possible acceptance of said reports as presented.
Hello. Thank you for completing the performance reviews. I appreciate it. In the backup are all the summary. Is there any questions or anything we need to address about it?
I will note that if you missed putting in a score, I just put in a 3 rather than hunt you back down.
You're looking at me.
Looking at you. I'm looking at you. Yes. Oh, yes.
No, I don't think she missed any.
She did. She missed a whole one.
I
Oh,
missed
that's-
the whole,
You missed Chief Stewart completely.
there wasn't a number high enough for Chiefs.
There wasn't a number high enough for Chief Stewart. Okay.
Thank
No.
you, Desiree. He was throwing me under the bus.
Oh, that bus is going through here.
Any questions on them?
Okay, if that's the case, I will entertain a motion to accept the reports as presented.
Move to approve.
Motion from Councilman Trask. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilwoman Williams Harper. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried and so ordered. Thank you. Item 2, Councilman Trask, Councilwoman Williams Harper, discussion only, update on Porter Group's efforts on the City of Ely's behalf to secure federal and state funding.
So Porter Group notified the city that the House of Representatives will vote on the Senate's version of a continuing resolution to fund the government at the end of August. That passes, then hopefully the appropriation bill with our City Hall request will be passed in December. They're also tentatively planning a trip to Ely in the fall. Meet with everyone.
Are there any questions on the Porter Group report? Okay, thank you. Item 3, Councilman Perea, Building Official Flannery, discussion for possible action, approval to hire CSG consultants for third-party building plan review services on an as-needed basis. Building Official Flannery. Go ahead.
Well, before I started, there was a contract with Safe Built, and I wanted to reach out to make sure we had somebody else we could fall back on. And so the CSG had provided us with their statement of qualifications, and I asked them for their table with their pricing. So with their pricing for a full plan review is actually 65%, but they actually start out with final fees are negotiable between city and CSG. And so when I start to look at the projects that we've got, like the K through 9 school that's going to start up, I mean, it's going to be quite a substantial plan review. And so I thought with everything going on in the county, it's like slickery ice out there for me, that I need to do something here that would be more reflective for what we need for our local jurisdiction.
Are there any questions regarding this proposal?
This is just as needed, so.
Yeah, and this is pretty standard what we've done in the past. We've done this on like the Justice Center. I mean, these big projects require a lot of manpower to staff, and Chris, as great as he is just one guy and can only be in one place at one time. So.
Well, what I'll do is, and I promise to come before the board before I even send anything their way, so that way everybody's well apprised of what's going on.
And we have to have a conversation with the county about that, about how to get that fee. And anyway, but there's a bigger conversation to be had with the county when it comes to using this contract for.
Well, with the contract itself, you know, it states the county contract states they're going to pay half of the price of the plan review. And I keep asking the county, and we need to revisit this.
We have a proposal that's with the chairwoman Carson. They've just had a few things on their plate at the moment.
Okay. So
Yeah. We're working on it.
Well, reaching out to these people, then I could also bring it over to the county with their larger projects too. So I just want to make sure that the jurisdictions are taken care of and the people within them are good to go.
Cheaper and broader services, right? That's the conversation we had, is that they're potentially cheaper and they have broader services that they can perform over, say, little competition doesn't hurt.
Right. And I've been doing this for almost 30 years myself. So I may see familiar faces in there. I don't know.
Okay. Any other questions? If they're not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve.
Motion to approve from Councilman Priya. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Councilwoman Williams Harper. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried and so ordered. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Let's see, where are we here? Item 4, Councilman Priya, City Treasurer Trask, discussion for possible action. Discuss process options, e.g. hiring a deputy treasurer to overlap City Treasurer Trask's service to facilitate hiring a new city treasurer in the future with possible option selection.
So Jeanette and I were talking, she is telling me that it is a for certain deal that she will be done June 30th. No. August 1st. Okay, August 1st. Sorry.
Don't speed it up and.
Don't get it going
have
too
to.
fast. So the question I had with this agenda item is, how do we overlap? How do we get somebody in to do the knowledge transfer? Everything. And I just threw in there I knew that the conversation had come up before about having a deputy position at some point. But to break it down in a nutshell, my theory is that the next person needs to build the next budget, which would be March at the latest would be March. So my contention is that in talking with Jeanette, if you have a 6-month overlap, you're doing a lot of training. If you do a 3-month overlap, like what I'm doing with my current employer, we had a retainer with the previous controller just so we could ask questions. So, I think that it either needs to be a long overlap or that we can shorten the overlap, but have some kind of retainer if the current treasurer would agree to that so that we could at least reach out in those instances where we would have questions. But I think that it's a conversation that needs to be had now rather than later. And it needs to be brought up in this meeting because we do have asks for wage increases and everything on top of this. And I think that they should all be kind of considered together as the impact on the budget for the current year. So
I'm assuming the treasurer and HR have some
Yeah,
things to add. Yeah.
And we both kind of came to the consensus, the deputy treasurer to us isn't going to work.
I think that it would be smarter to hire a treasurer to come in and train under her so that you don't have any shoes to fill. You don't have a lower wage to come into. Maybe they won't want it.
Yeah.
Just makes a lot more sense to hire a treasurer.
And that leaves that to you guys, which is ultimately your guys' decision, who's the treasurer position. Timing wise, it's totally up to you guys. I'm amenable either way. If you want to put it off for, I'll be happy to contact back services if needed. But getting somebody in, I guess, as I'm told, I might be over worrying about this. I just don't want to leave things in a mess. So I'm trying really hard to make that happen. And as pointed out, there's no guarantee.
one of the questions I had, you point at the mom, they couldn't find a finance person for 4 years. I don't know, what kind of time frame do you think that you need to get it out there so that we could get qualified applicants, and are we going to get applicants? And the one thing I will say, because we're going to end up talking a lot about this in later agenda items, I don't think we're going to find somebody for 78, which is what currently Jeanette makes.
So I have a soapbox, if I may.
What? Never.
Come on. I'm all for starting the search as soon as we possibly can. I don't think it hurts to advertise. If you've got a date, say, okay, the city's going to be looking for someone. The current one's departing at this time. We'd like to hire you beforehand, but this is kind of the parameters of what we're looking for. I just don't know. I just don't know who's going to show up. We still have the option to hire a deputy if someone comes on who needs some training. Maybe we get someone who's well qualified and we need to look at paying more than what we're paying now. I don't know, but I'd like to leave as many options open as possible because I just don't know what we're going to get. And this is to the treasurer's point about her worrying. Not that she shouldn't worry, but there's just only so much we have control over. We get the applicants we get, but I think we should be proactive. I think we should start advertising as soon as the council and the treasurer are comfortable, whether that's now or 6 months before her departure date. I'm ambivalent, but I think putting it out there and starting to chum the waters a bit doesn't hurt at all.
If I could chime in, we have a prime example of what happens when you bring someone in. I'm agreeing with Jeanette. I don't think we need a deputy. We need to bring someone in who can train underneath her. Terrell, our CFO for the district, and Angie, we brought them in early. They got a chance to do the job, and because of that, we have made a wonderful transition in my mind, and I would sort of like to see the same thing here. And I do agree with Dennis. Money's expensive, so we probably will have to pay someone more. And
Expensive.
money is expensive. It's a new phrase. So I agree, we don't need a deputy. We need to just bring somebody in early and bite the bullet. And that's what the school district did. And I think it was a fabulous result.
So and let me know what you think about this, Des, but if we.
Well, I'm sorry. And can I add one
Oh,
more thing?
please, yeah.
I also think it is also a good idea to sort of have Jeanette on a retainer to maybe clean up some things, or it could be someone who says, I can do all of this, but I'm absolutely lost here. I need some help. That's always a good idea too. So.
And it just depends on who we get, you know?
Right.
I mean, there's the universe is chaos and the infinite amount of possibilities, but if the council is amenable, maybe we could come up with HR a timeline and an advertisement for your guys' approval for the next meeting and say, hey, this is what you'd recommend, and in consultation with the treasurer, kind of how we'd advertise it. See if you guys would approve of that.
This should have almost been a separate agenda item when I'm going to talk about a deputy. It's probably not a good idea to try to use a deputy position and whatnot to backfill that position, but I do worry about the proverbial bus. And after we find somebody new, not having anybody there that is working underneath, I think is a risk that we're going to have to address, because I don't think somebody can right away without creating a mess and then having to clean it up. But that's certainly a separate agenda item. I think that we need some depth when it comes to the finances. It's too risky.
Well, and this was, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jennifer, but as we had done some of the, was this in a job description or was it in the budgeting process where we asked the budget to be reviewed by some other city officials just so that there was some multiple eyes on things when that happened? Because again, Jeanette's not always going to be here. It was a system to put in place so that, hey, there's at least a review kind of implied, so that in case something's completely off or something's just missed, that if the new person doesn't know, maybe because we do have some institutional knowledge in the rest of City Hall at the moment.
Yeah.
So some things like that could probably help, short of having somebody else in the department as well. But am I remembering that wrong?
Well, that's been in the code a long time. So, yeah, it was just when the revisions for the treasurer and the clerk were done last year, that was just.
Is that when we added the deputy language?
Yeah.
Yeah. The issue that Des brought up with hiring a deputy, you would have to hire him as an accounts clerk, hourly accounts clerk. Then I would have to get your approval to let me appoint them, and then I would appoint them. But if they don't work out for you, you now have another person sitting in City Hall.
Yeah.
We may not be able to keep, but now you've got them there. And I don't know if you know, but getting rid of somebody
is hard.
There were some union, there were some union aspects to that route. Yeah.
Come up with the thought that it would be better to just go straight to appointing another treasurer.
So let's go that route if the council's.
I just want to add on the timeline of thing, as someone that did step in right after a budget had already been established and had to kind of manage someone else's budget. It definitely helps if you could come in a little bit earlier and be part of that process, building that budget. So just as we're thinking about timelines, I hope we keep that in mind, because it does make a big difference if you know why those line items are the numbers they are. So versus trying to understand it backwards. So just thoughts.
Is there anybody who'd like to hazard a motion of some sort?
I move to have HR and the treasurer come up with a tentative advertising date and draft and plan.
With the budget impact.
Yeah. Keeping in mind the budget.
I have a motion from Councilman Trask. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second from Councilman Van Camp. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried and so ordered. Thank you. Item 5, is that where we're at? Yes. Councilman Priya, discussion for possible action, review of Vertical Bridge's proposal for the city to receive a one-time cash payment in lieu of future monthly lease payments associated with their tower site located on leased City of Ely property, with decision to accept or deny the proposal.
So we received the information from the city attorney, and I agree with him. It's a terrible idea, but I thought it was a council decision and whatnot, that I could see that they probably try this with municipalities that are in budget trouble and they see a short-term fix. This is not a good thing for the city, but
I echo those same.
It's also, I think that there are people where this would make sense. Like, let's say you're, older and you have health problems, whatever, you're not going to be around for 20 years. We're a government. We're going to be here until Armageddon. So a terrible idea.
Okay. And it's a terrible idea based on just the length of the agreement or
Well, it just,
do we end up getting less money?
I don't mean terrible in a negative sense. So maybe that was the wrong word to use. It's just, it doesn't really work for a government the way it could for a private citizen.
so this contract has been in effect since 93.
Yeah.
So we would take this could easily go for another 30, 40 years, if not longer, unless the technology changes that fast. And plus with the agreement that we negotiated last time, I believe we get to renegotiate the rate that the city's getting paid in 5 years.
Yeah.
And-
We have a good agreement in place.
And so I don't think that it's gonna, I would not, they need to be paying the market rate. A 600% increase was great, but it's still not at the market rate, and they will need to do that in the 5th year.
And I do know they sent these just mass mail because the school district also received one. And so, yeah, it was just a mass mailer. They're just trying to get some people to bite on this situation. And as the attorney said, the fact that this could go on for eternity in theory.
It's worth adding, like, I don't think anything sinister is going on here by Vertical Bridge at all. I think it's like Councilman Trask said, they're just doing some business, sending out inquiries, seeing what, who might be interested.
Okay. Are there any other questions regarding this? Anything else anybody wants to add? Do we just let it die, or does someone need to vote to reject?
We're all here. We might as well deny it.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I move to reject the proposal.
Motion from
Second.
Councilman Priya, second from Councilman Trask. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried and so ordered. Item 6, council members, Police Chief Henroyd, City Attorney Arabia, discussion only, review of Club Rio's implemented procedures per Ely City Council Resolution 2026-06. Sheriff Henroyd.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Council. So from the time we had the violation to present, it's good to report that we haven't had any other issues with the Club Rio, so that's always a plus. So we appreciate their cooperation and making sure that that's happening. I'm grateful for the Mateas to be here so that they can share what progress they've made in securing their security systems, dealing with signage and all that we have requested. So the time over to them.
Good evening. My name is John Mateo, authorized agent for Club Rio. So where we're at on some of the discussion we had was the PO system that does the ID check. That has been installed by Ship 4, and we're undergoing training right now. And the rear door with the emergency exit with the audible alarm actually was installed today. They still have a little more work to do on it tomorrow. And the audible alarm is in our possession. So is the bar, the emergency exit bar. That'll all be put in the next couple of days. Then enhanced lighting around the alley in the back of the Rio has been up for a while, and I don't know if any of you've seen it at night. It is bright. It looks like a baseball stadium. Camera system's been up and running for a while. It covers every inch of the inside of the bar, the outside of the bar. And the other thing we want to do is, because it only contains 10 days worth of video, we're going to add some more memory to it. If you remember, this is a system that will pick you out. And so if we have an issue with somebody that we want to flag, it'll go to our phones when that person enters that bar again, once we flag that person. We have the signage that are up all over at the exits, bathrooms, and we've also increased the font size of emergency contacts that are on the exterior of the sign, so the police department can contact us. We were having the weekly staff meetings, and I was supposed to keep you informed, and I dropped the ball on that one. What happened was I dropped the ball on that one. But we had to go from weekly meetings to train these people individually because of their schedules and whatnot. I've been keeping Jennifer informed of the when we have events and whatnot. And thus far, we've had extra people on the floor checking IDs when these events happen. We've only had a couple, and there's actually another one coming up this weekend. Pretty much that's it. If you have any other questions, the fire department and building inspector want us to put a fire door between the apartment and the building and some upgraded alarms. And we went through a checklist with them and completed everything with them.
Are there any questions for Mr. Matei or
Thank you,
Sheriff Enright?
Thank you.
It's looking good down there.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you
for your time tonight. Item 7, council members, City Fire Chief Stork, discussion only, presentation of Nevada Health Authority Flex Subgrant Award to the City of Ely Fire Department.
Hello again. So, some of you probably know Captain Sean Matei or Sean Pena. Speaking of John Matei. Back in January, Sean came to me and he was going to put in for to be on the steering committee for rural Nevada health transformation. So they had 96 applicants that applied for this, and when it was all said and done, Sean holds one of the 15 seats on this steering committee as the rural Nevada EMS provider. So he came to me and about that same time and said, "Hey, there's all this money available that the state's got, and it's strictly for rural EMS. It's eliminates Clark County, it eliminates Washington County." So he's like, "I'd like to put in for some of this." So I said, "Well, let's get a plan together, get all your stuff, what you want to do, and we'll go down and talk to Jeanette and Jennifer Lee and make sure it's in meet within everything." So Sean did all the legwork, so I'm going to let him speak on it and not steal his thunder, because he's the one who basically did all the legwork on this, got everything together. We've met with Jennifer and Jeanette several times over this, and we've been awarded this, and so I want to let him explain kind of the process and everything that he did on getting it going, because he's going to be the one that's going to have to manage it for a while to come. So
Thanks, Chief.
Captain Pena?
Yep. So like you said, we're very excited to have been accepted as one of the sub awardees for this. So we have been offered $837,378 to implement a program for a non-emergent interfacility transport. And what this would be is it is going to provide us a new ambulance, a type 2 ambulance. Basically all that is, I don't know if you guys have seen MedX driving around in their ambulance, but it's a van style chassis. It's a smaller ambulance, but they're for long distances. And that is going to help us so that way we can transport patients out of the hospital here and going to other specialty care hospitals such as Salt Lake, even Elko or Vegas. And what this will also provide us is not only that ambulance fully stocked, but it's also going to help bolster our current equipment. So we're getting all new monitors, new auto pulses, things that are going to help this community continue to thrive in the EMS region. And so we were just one of 14 that actually received this out of over 100 applicants for this flex fund as well. So in fact, 9 of them were hospitals that automatically got accepted. So we were just one of 5 entities that actually got tested, looked through, and they said yes to it. So there's a further breakdown of all of that, but basically it goes over supplies, equipment, and then also like insurances and things like that for us to be able to actually incorporate a program like this. So
Thank you. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Wow.
I want to say congratulations. That's fantastic.
that's-
Yeah, thank you.
okay.
On all aspects. So
Thank you again.
Okay, appreciate it. Item 8, council members, Human Resources Director Ramirez, discussion for possible action, acceptance of Mass Mutual's proposal to offer group whole life insurance to City of Ely employees at each individual employee's expense.
So I was approached by Mass Mutual and been working with them to develop a whole life insurance that we can offer to all of the employees. At the employees, they would pay for it. It's their cost.
It's also their discretion, right?
It's
They
at
don't
their
have to
discretion.
sign.
They do not have to have it. It's optional, but it's there if they want it. I will turn it over to Andrew and Carrie, and they can give you a little presentation on it.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Is it okay if I share my screen for a slide?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to do that right now. Okay, does everybody see that?
yes.
Okay, beautiful. So my name is Carrie. This is Mr. Andrew. We work with Mass Mutual through Quest Benefits Northwest, and we're here to share the voluntary benefit opportunity for the City of Ely employees that come at no cost to the city. Before we get into the benefit, I really want to take a moment on what's already in place because it really helps explain why we are here. So right now, the City of Ely offers employees a $25,000 term life policy. It's not portable, and the death benefit decreases somewhere around the ages of 60 to 70. And I believe it decreases down to $16,250. So coverage actually shrinks right when many employees may value it the most, which really brings us to what we're proposing tonight. It is a voluntary, guaranteed issue whole life benefit through Mass Mutual. And we're going to walk through what this looks like with the slide up here. So starting at the very top, this is a guaranteed benefit, meaning all the employees are going to get access to it regardless of their past or current health history. It doesn't matter, cancer, diabetes, health, or high blood pressure, any of those things, none of it's going to disqualify the employees. Now, since this is a whole life insurance, I do want to pause and explain what is the difference from a term coverage that the city has today, because the distinction really is the heart of today's proposal. So for those of you who don't know permanent versus term life, term is temporary. You pay premiums for a set number of years. When the term ends, the rate goes up or the coverage disappears altogether. If you never use it, you don't get any of those funds back. A whole life, which we talk about, it never expires as long as those premiums are paid. Rates are locked in for life, and part of every payment is going to build cash value that belongs to the employees. Now, thinking of renting versus owning a home, terms renting, whole life is building equity that really that they get to keep for themselves. When we talk about locked in premium and portability, the rates are locked in at the date of application. They never increase, even if the employee leaves the city job. They get to take it with them. It will never change. When we look at family coverage, that will be available for spouses, children, and even those grandbabies. So below here, this is actually going to go over what happens to the premium, the money that the employees are paying in. So we talk about guaranteed cash value accumulation. So if everybody envisions paying $50 a month for a policy, part of that $50 pays for life insurance, part of it goes to this cash bucket. Mass Mutual guarantees you 3.75% interest rate on that cash bucket year over year, compounding interest, kind of like a small savings account. But Mass Mutual is also a mutual company. So that means part of their profits are paid out directly to the policyholders every single year. If that profit, it's called a dividend, is higher than that 3.75, they get the higher of the two. This year it's 6.6. So what that extra amount is putting more money into their cash bucket, but it's also going to buy them more life insurance. But all along, their cost will remain the same. It will never increase. Some of the policy advantage is as that cash bucket grows, they will be able to pull loans out of that bucket if they so choose. There's also a terminal and chronic illness built into the policy, and that will pay out 75% of their death benefit while they're still alive, and they can use it for absolutely anything they want, and the remaining amount stays in force as a life insurance policy. So really bringing it back to the city of Ely specifically, all the employees who are 18 to 75 years of age are going to qualify up to 100,000 guaranteed issue. There's also an option to get 250 through an expressed issue process. It's a very one medical question, 10 bullet points is how I state it. Again, there is no cost to the city. We handle all the employee education and the enrollment and really make it easy for everybody on the admin side of it. We want to take on that responsibility. So definitely thank you for your time and the considerations, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any questions?
How are the premiums determined? How the cost to the employee? It's not a flat rate. It's going to fluctuate based, or it is a flat rate.
Nope, it's not a flat rate. I wish it was, but it wasn't, because the older we are, the more expensive it is, of course. And so the factors that affect the rate are how much they're going to enroll for, 10,000 or 25,000 up to 250, how old they are at the date of application, and then if they're a smoker or non-smoker. That's the only three things. Their health has no bearings on it whatsoever.
Any other questions?
I'll move to approve.
Motion to approve from Councilman Trask. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Councilwoman Williams Harper. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried and so ordered. Thank you.
Thank you.
With the council's permission for the last three items here, I'd like to open all of those together. Each employee will make their own pitch and presentation and have that discussion one-on-one with the council. But I'd like the council to have the opportunity to consider the raises in aggregate with the budget at the end, if that's okay. So item 9, council members, Public Works Director Craycraft, discussion for possible action, consideration of Public Works Director Craycraft's request for an increase in pay with possible approval or approval of another mutually agreed upon amount. Item 10, council members, Building Official Flannery, discussion for possible action, consideration of Building Official Flannery's request for an increase in pay with possible approval or approval of another mutually agreed upon amount. And item 11, council members, Human Resource Director Ramirez, discussion for possible action, consideration of Human Resources Director Ramirez's request for an increase in pay with possible approval or approval of another mutually agreed upon amount. And we'll start with Mike.
Hi.
Hi.
I know what in your packet I did a note, I guess, or a request for a raise, and I don't know where to go with it from there. Kind of awkward.
It is. If you'd just for the record and for the council, if you'll just walk through your rationale and how much you're requesting.
I am requesting an increase of $6,000, not quite 6,000. My wage now is $79,181. I'm asking to go to 85. I feel like I wasn't really prepared. I thought that everybody'd read it and was my rationale is I feel like we're underpaid. I guess basically, when you look at I showed you what the counties hired their new employees at, their maintenance and their supervisors and their lead men, what they make, and the other public works directors around the state make that are similar.
So everybody was getting the 2.5%, correct?
Everybody's already
So,
received the
so
2.5.
it's not shy of 6,000, be less than that because you were already getting 2.5.
Yes. I know in the past, after job evaluations, weight raises have been given.
And just for the council's, just a reminder, when I go over each department head individually with their performance evaluation. At that time, I ask if they're going to be requesting a raise above and beyond the budgeted 2.5%. If they are, this is the process, is that they show up and they need to make that rationale to the council who's got the purse strings on that.
No problem with the request at all, but I think we should be doing this in March and we probably should have an agenda item to move this earlier.
And that's fine too.
Okay, but
Yeah.
I agree 100% with that statement. Just as we're going into budgetary, I think, yeah, we're going through the procedures, and I appreciate this. Really is what we have to do, and it's super awkward. I agree with what you're saying there, Mike. Budgetary moving forward, we need to move this process or a different process or whatever, but we need to move this to March so that it's budgeted for. Because now we're not even a month into it, and we're looking to not blow up the budget. 6,000 is not going to blow up the budget, but
one thing about the public works director's wages, it's split 8 ways.
4 ways.
Well, 10% comes out. 10% comes out of 1062. 10% comes out of 63. 10% comes out of 64.
But those are still
General.
part of the gym.
And 50% comes out of the enterprise fund.
Yeah.
Landfill.
It should be.
Well, 16.6 and 16.6 and 16.6 out of the landfill, wastewater, sewer, and water.
Are there any questions for Mike regarding his rationale or amount, or
no, I think.
Is there anything else you wanted to add on that at this point, Mike?
I would like to say
Okay. So it's
Mentor asked me, ask him a question.
sure.
So are you talking about waiting to do this until March? Or are you saying?
I think to be fair, I think to listen to all the proposals tonight, and then we can have a broader conversation about where we want to go with this. But I think to be fair, I think we should listen to all of them, and then as the mayor has given us the opportunity to kind of discuss this as a whole group or whole conversation, I think that we have that after that. So,
and I would encourage the council to continue with this process now. If we want to change this going forward, I would endorse that completely. I think that's a good idea, but we're kind of in the middle of
right, and that's why I think it's fair to everyone to give everyone an opportunity to speak before
I personally waited till after the evaluations because I know that's the way it's been done.
Yeah, 100%. I think
and I know
you
part of that.
Yeah. I know you've definitely followed the procedures that we have
and like I explained to all of the employees I talked to, they're within their rights at any time of the year to ask to be considered for a raise. I mean, this is how we typically have done it. If we'd like to change the procedure, there's probably
not a
rationale
problem
for
with the
that too.
request.
Yeah.
It's not a problem.
No,
with the
there's not
request.
a problem.
Okay. Okay.
Just trying to clarify.
Yeah. No, I think we should listen to everyone first.
Okay. Thanks, Mike. Chris Flannery.
Hello.
Hi, Chris.
Here I am again. When I applied, I told you I'd be here in front of you. And I understand. So I'm just standing up for my word here, to get up in front of you guys. And there's a lot of work going on in the county. And I think if I was there at the county, I'd be screaming at the podium about the work and the amount of staff that I have to work with, because there's a lot of ground to cover. And I think everybody probably understands that. So.
Is there a certain amount you're asking for?
Yes, just to bring 6,000.
And I believe you're at 90.
I believe 94 at this point.
94.
So that would have just rounded up to that 100,000 mark.
Okay. Are there questions from the council about any of the things building official Flannery has presented or supplied in the backup documentation?
I did get a chance to meet with Chris, and we've already talked about this a little bit, but and I think you addressed it in your backup, but we did talk about raising it that amount with those certifications.
Yeah.
You're busy, we didn't get to them, and we're within the year.
Right.
Do you see with any relief with this county employee coming on? Are we going to take a run at those?
So, when I bring on an employee, especially an inspector, it usually takes about a year before I can even say, go out there and get this done. And where I'm comfortable, because inspectors represent me in the community until they get to that point where I feel comfortable that they're representing me in the community, they can't go out. But there's things also that I've got to do. We haven't changed any of the fee structure for these building permits since 2006 when I established that. I've got to move forward even this winter to build a working group of my contractors, local contractors here, to give them ownership and bringing the fees up to date. Even when I'm looking at the planning fees, these haven't been addressed for many years. The master planning hasn't been addressed in 26 years. So I've got those to deal with, and I got to bring up those planning fees to better represent the employees working for those fees, so that they could afford to work under what we're doing. So I have to work these things up, and now the codes, we have to bring those up to date this winter. So I'll have a working group of contractors also. So it's just a huge amount of work that I'm dealing with. I'm usually in my office from 5:30 in the morning until sometimes later. Yes.
That the inspector for the county has been hired, and have they started work with you, or is that?
He will be in the office Monday morning.
Okay.
And he will be a busy inspector right out the gate. Trust me on that one.
Okay. Are there any other questions for Chris? Is there anything else you'd like to add, Chris?
I'll take the fifth. Thank you.
Desi, you're up.
Again, thank you for the opportunity to speak. In the backup material, I've included my comparable pay rates for similar rural areas, as well as a letter outlining my skills, accomplishments, and work history. I hope this helps to demonstrate the value of my role and the contributions I bring to the organization. Are there any questions about the backup material?
Don't believe so.
Any questions for me?
Would you walk the council through your rationale about asking for a raise at this point?
Well, I feel that I do have a lot on my plate. I do take on a lot of challenges. I continue my hard work, my education. I'm now certified in I have two certifications in HR. One is the PSHRA for public sector, and the other one is through HRCI, which is the Human Resources Certification Institute. They're both globally recognized. I only have one more to get, which would be the SHRM, and then I have the trifecta of the Human Resources certifications, and that is on my radar.
And you got these two certifications within the last year, is that correct?
No, I got my PSHRA 3 years ago. I got my my SPHR in June, and that was a big test. But I am willing, I'm hardworking, I'm dedicated, and I think I have a good rapport with the employees, and I'm trying, I'm always working hard. I'm always giving my 100%. So, and I feel that my pay scale is low, and I am asking for 72,800, which is an increase. I have it written down.
72.
Yep, 72,800.
So that's an increase of
$8,737.50. And my wages are also split 4 ways: the 3 enterprise funds and then the HR department.
Are there any questions?
Can I ask an HR question, not the proposal question? So, and all of these, when we actually do these comparisons with other municipalities and whatnot, is it apples to apples? Are these other entities actually paying for all of the retirement like we do, and
Not all of them, no. Some of them are, employee, their choice agents or choice agencies. So they do get paid a little higher, but there's a big difference.
yeah, no, I was just trying to figure out, when I think that you can make a case for across all of these positions that they're not overpaid at the top of the scale that we have. But when we actually are trying to compare against other people, I wonder
And we
about that
usually-
retirement.
yeah, we usually compare the same places. So we're not comparing, for Mike's position, my position, Jeanette's position, we compare the same areas. So we don't
Well, you
jump
don't-
around the state and pick all different ones. We compare the same area.
Same time.
Are there any other questions for Desiree? Is there anything else you wanted to add at this point? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I will proffer to the council that all of the performance reviews were very high, all positive comments, and I do have eminent faith in our staff and the job they do. I know they're dedicated. They show up time and time again. I mean, as you were watching the community's response to the fire, just watching that, I mean, that the firefighters are all out front, but it took Public Works, it took questions to HR, it took questions to our clerk. I mean, our team really works well together. They work hard together. They respond after hours, weekends, anytime there's a process or a problem. I've never had my call end up going to voicemail. If they're on vacation, they answer. Their dedication is beyond reproach for sure. And as I discussed with each of them too, I think there's absolutely an easy case to make that every single one of them is underpaid if you want to compare with the rest of the state. Be that as it may, I think everywhere has its own kind of economies of scale and budget size. And, every city, as I go around the state, every city, even if we're looking at a city of the same size that has a treasurer, it's organized slightly differently. Public Works, same thing. It is apples to apples as close as we can get, no question. I think they really look into this and try to make the best comparisons possible, but it's never a perfect system. I'm sure you guys go through the same thing at the school district as you look at stuff like that. Every organization is slightly different. So, and again, I wanted to make sure that we were considering all these together for the impact on the budget. I think, and not to speak for the council, but I believe the cases have all been made that those raises are certainly warranted from a merit standpoint. That's really not the question here. But if there are questions, I know I did talk to the treasurer about being prepared for questions on the budget and impacts and things we could or couldn't do. So she's available to answer questions for you guys as well. And if you have any other questions for these individual department heads, as you have this discussion, we can certainly have them come back up and answer questions as well.
I'd like to hear from Jeanette.
Yes.
I'm not sure what I haven't figured out what Desiree, I didn't figure out a monthly, but it looks like it would be a $500 a month for Mike and Chris. Desiree would be $750. I don't know. I didn't figure that one out, but
so the total impact of the budget, I think from those numbers was just over $20,000.
Yeah.
11.
Yeah.
Chris is under.
Just a little under 19.
Yeah, just a little under.
Oh, under 19.
It's 100% in the general fund. Even though.
Say that again now, what?
Chris's
Adjust.
is 100% in the general fund. And let's just remember the general fund is my biggest one that I have to.
It's got the most demands.
Yeah, it does. It has.
So Chris is totally in the general fund. Mike is split.
Well, even though he said 8,
chunk of it goes into the general fund. It's split between enterprise funds and general funds.
So is Desi.
Yes, and Dez's is also. So, what's your question?
If you split, I mean, really, if you look at it, it's hard to live nowadays. And I read all of the information that was sent to us on those deals with their work performance. 20,000.
What's your question?
Well, part of this is split. I kind of just said, what does it look like? What's it going to do to us as we get?
Can I do it? Yes, I can. Do I like going into a brand new fiscal year, just like last meeting? We've already dipped into the contingency fund. I would agree. I would prefer this to be done before the budget period is done.
So in that previous agenda item where we're talking about an overlap, that's going to be 20 grand at a minimum.
Yeah.
For a 3-month period, right? I'm back of the envelope math, benefits, whatever.
Yeah.
So we're
because
looking.
It's going to increase through benefits.
We've got 4 agenda items. It's going to come out to 40+ thousand.
So it isn't just their wages. Now you got to factor in the budget or the benefits too. Like I said, can I do it? Yeah, I can do it. I've been hit with more. I just would encourage you guys to change how this is done to get it done during the budgeting period.
And I think there's merit to that comment, and I think we should seriously consider that. But again, I would like to make sure that we finish this process that we're in the middle of now.
Well, and like you said, with comparing to other entities, it's the best that we can do. We try and do that, but every budget's different. You take our budget, and I'm talking about just the general fund because that's my volatile one. We have a 4.4 million revenue budget. The county has a 60 million, Elko has 60 million. So we always are going to be paying less than everybody else.
So let me ask on the benefits side, is it twice the wages you calculate for benefits, or is it like a third more?
No, it's closer to almost 50% of what you.
So we're looking at 30,000 probably impact.
Yeah.
With the benefits.
Yeah.
Okay.
20 in wages and 10 in benefits.
Yeah. It can be
I would say that's going to be on the lower side.
Yeah,
I mean, PERS
I think so
itself
too.
is 36.875. So there's.
And then you've got the insurance, but everybody's insurance is different.
The wages doesn't change the insurance though.
No, it doesn't change the insurance.
changes
Just
the
the tax part and the
taxes and
PERS.
Yeah. And any council member knows, I mean, if you stop by, we've had the discussion that the largest part of our budget are wages and benefits.
Yeah.
And justifiably so. We rely on the people that we employ to be able to serve the community. Without them, there is no services.
And we have come a long way from where we were. In 6 years, we've almost doubled our wages and benefits expenses in a short period of time.
And like
the thing I would recommend is that you be very conscious of, can we sustain the wages that we're paying?
And I reported to the council, I believe a couple months ago, there isn't a city in this state that isn't facing that same kind of increase. I mean, I think Henderson had a 45% increase in their wages and benefits over the last few years. We've had something similar. Cities across the state are faced with this, and it's just part of life these days. But
is there a world where we address the bigger issue first and then come back to this? These three?
I was actually hoping, these people deserve an answer. I get that.
Right.
But I'd rather almost talk about what we're going to end up paying later in the year, and do it as one item and approve it. I just.
What do you mean paying later in the year?
Well, we're going to end up paying 20-something thousand later in the year for an overlap and whatnot. And so all of this,
I'm still
If
confused.
we hire another.
Oh, I see what we're
So,
saying.
so you're talking 30,000 and another 20,000. Now we're talking 50 and 60,000. I just want
Well,
to
and
make sure.
like I discussed with the treasurer, I think we should plan, but there's just no guarantee we get somebody in time for her to train whoever comes in. And depending on who we get, they may not want that. I don't know. There's, again, the universe is chaos and there's an infinite amount of possibilities. Ideally, would we get someone in that we could train that would just be right in that sweet spot of experience and has time left? Yes. It just, like you said, the mind 4 years.
Scares me to death.
I'm there with you.
Finances scare me to death.
Yeah.
I agree, but if we're talking about waiting till March, you're putting their request off almost 7 months.
I don't think they're asking to put it up till then.
Oh, no.
And I don't think we would.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would hope.
I think
Well, that's what,
if we
because
think-
when you said, could we do it? That's what I thought you
I'm
were
sorry.
trying to.
He's talking about hiring an additional treasurer. Yeah.
No,
That's
okay.
two separate.
So, but still,
I think if we do this again in March, we would have to take in consideration that these specific people already got one now. I mean, if they came back and asked, that would be a
I
consideration.
don't disagree about the March. I think that that's a good idea. And of course, I don't want to leave anyone hanging for all that time. But I think we also have to remember sometimes we have the ideas, we're just a small place and we can get people to do these jobs all day long, and we can't. They take a lot of skill. We are fortunate that they work together. Well, I know we have the same issues at the school district, and Terrell works hard to keep good people and good salaries. But it's not easy. We don't have 1 million people lined up for these jobs. So we also have to be very careful because it really costs us when we wind up bringing in brand new people all the time.
Retention is very important.
Here's the issue I have right now. The issue is, and it really is a bigger picture issue, but I guarantee that this is just like Mike said, a very awkward conversation that we're having. There's also going to be a number of other appointed officials now kicking themselves and saying, well, why the hell didn't we go up there and do the same thing? And so we need to address that issue before we can address. I think we need to address that issue. And I think there's a way to address that issue. I don't think we can address that issue with the way the agenda is set tonight to be able to address that. So that's why I'm hoping that we could address that issue and then, in a sense, kind of address this issue also. And I mean, I'm willing to say on the next agenda that we put that on the agenda to try to correct this awkward phase that we're in, but also as a budgetary thing as well, being able to figure out how we address that going forward as well. So that's my issue I have right now. It's not that this is not warranted. I believe all of these. I think if we could pay everyone the most money we possibly could, we would. But we need to address the holistic issue before we can start to address individual issues at a time, one at a time.
Like what he's saying, the problem is this is the hand we dealt these folks with now. So we've got to. It's like we've got to honor the process that we're in. But I absolutely agree. I wish that this was a graduated scale in that range.
Yeah.
Whether, the 10-year range or something, so that it's not this is pretty arbitrary, and that's what gets me about the process, not the requests.
Well, and
It's the process.
We have in my 8 years doing this, we have done this almost 8 different ways, and I'm open to suggestions. I don't like this any more than anybody else does. I mean, we've worked hard and we've kind of dialed this in, and it may be as good as it can get with this. If there's a better system, I'm all ears. But again, like Dennis said, I think we need to honor some of this process at this moment. We're in the middle of it.
Well, have we ever done a stepped up basis, like kind of what Dennis was talking about, a 10-year scale, and everyone gets that percentage increase
We
on
do
it?
that for our union contract. I mean, the union employees, this is very easy. The problem with these appointed officials is that pay has got a range, and it's set in a negotiation between them and the council. And the only place that can happen is in public. So when you're talking about raises, we've changed it a little bit where the budgetary raises also go to them so that they are getting the cost of living that everybody else is getting as well. And that doesn't have to come here. But if they feel like they need a bump in pay, I don't know how else we do that besides them coming here to negotiate that again with the council. If there's
with the model we currently have.
with the model we currently have.
Yeah.
If we wanted to put in a new policy that says, okay, we negotiate your initial pay and then you're only up for increases at these same intervals as like everybody else is, that's certainly an option. But that's a decision for the council to make.
I hear and agree with both of you, but I'm still sort of, let's not change horses in the middle of the stream.
Yep. 100%. I mean, the other thing too is, as the mayor just pointed out, the 2.5% has already been, they've got the cost of living. Everyone's got the cost of living from top to bottom. Correct. Okay. So there has been.
Whatever we're calling that, Jeanette.
Or whatever.
Annual increase.
Yeah, annual.
Whatever.
The 2.5%. They got the 2.5% as well. So, and in budgetary times, when we're setting budgetary, we are being very cautious about how we're budgeting. We unknown revenues, everything is down. So we were cutting it in before. So it's tricky for me in the middle of, not even the middle, the beginning of a budget to change courses. I agree in the grand scheme of things, it's 30,000, give or take some there, not the biggest chunk of it. As the treasurer said, we can make this happen. I just don't, yeah.
What would we do when the other appointed?
Right, because as the mayor also pointed out, any other appointed officials at any time could come and ask for a raise, and if they see.
They're all offered the opportunity. And again, it is explained that if you feel like you're entitled to a raise at any time, you are within your right to request to be put on the agenda. That's your thing. If you're requesting a raise because other people are requesting raises, I suppose there's something in there, and that can't be avoided again because of the public nature of this. That's just it's part of how it happens. But at some point, you have to make your internal discussion on: do I feel like I'm being fairly compensated? Good. If you feel like you are entitled to a raise, and nobody really knows our budget constraints better than our appointed officials, because they're the ones helping assemble the budget together with the treasurer. Every year they do the same worksheets and they do that. So I would hope that in their requests, they're also considering that as well, because I think they're further in it than we are most of the time.
So I still want to say again, very plainly, we suck it up. And I don't want that to mean they feel like they're owed something. And if we're saying they're owed something, we're believing that too. But I think it would be disingenuous, and I don't want them to feel like the council is going to come up with a reason why we can't do something. So I think, moreover, we do this now and we hurry up and fix and change what it is we want to do, so we're not caught in this position again. I just think it's the wrong time to say, because that's what it sounds like.
Well, we have a business decision to make. This isn't a personnel one. And that's why this gets awkward for me, is we've got people we care about that deserve more money.
And
But
we
at the
want
end of the day, we have to make a business decision. And the problem is we're making a business decision in the first month of the budget. So I think everybody gets the argument. If we actually move on these raises right now, I'd like to talk to the three of them and say that we can't renegotiate again in March. It would have to be at least 6 months past that. So that we could actually put some kind of process into place, making sure that they're okay with not asking.
Well, and that's, again, you say it's arbitrary, and it is. It absolutely is. It's a negotiation between you guys and these employees. But that's part of they're within their right, if you gave them a raise now, to ask to be put on the next agenda, to ask for another one. And you guys would have to have, there can't be a policy for your guys to have reason, I guess is that point.
Under the current, but I think we fix that. To Carol's, I think we get away from this being arbitrary and we do this in March. And that means.
I think it's still going to be arbitrary in March is my point. I think it's just going to be a better time for our budget.
I think we set in
Yeah.
stone how we handle
Mhm.
raises and it not being in our.
How do you make it not? Well, we can talk individually. I'm interested in hearing what this is because I think.
Scale. I mean,
again,
they've got a range and we put that scale in there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But it is tough. I mean, we're sitting here. The problem is the business decision. We have to make a smart business decision.
Right.
And we don't. I'll leave it at that. I'm for. I'll even vote for these pay raises, but the process. This is a bad way of doing business.
I don't think anybody disagrees with that. I think that we need some changes, but I think I still want them to have good faith. I think it's good that they understand what we're saying and the reasoning. And again, there are several ways that we can do this by scale and so forth and so on. But to start that right now, I think is not good business. Because I do think what they do and what they think matters, and it's our 5 votes. So.
Are there any other questions the council would like to ask the treasurer or any of these employees making the request?
So I recognize, as a newer council member, this is the way we've been doing things. I feel like I've often seen Jeanette up here, like I can make it happen. So I guess my last question for her is she notified about these on the front end, especially because we just started the new budget season?
No, these come up during the personnel review.
Yeah. And I recognize that. I just didn't know if there was like, if it's run through you, like, yeah.
And again, for the 8 years I've been doing this, we've done this 8 different ways. I mean, we've had years where they put their pay request increase in the budget. The council at the time did not like that, as some of you who are here may recall. We've done it a few different ways. I'm open to another one. I feel like we don't have this probably dialed in the best we could, and it's certainly not being done at the best time of year. But again, that's up to the council, and I'm open to those.
So
Yes.
to bring.
Thanks. I'm starting to get a little concerned here, just that a member of the public reading the agenda item.
So I was going to bring it back to the agenda items if you're good with that.
Well, just it's okay to discuss things, but there really is no point to it, because if there's going to be, it was actually an interesting discussion to listen to, but a member of the public, I don't think would have anticipated that it was going to kind of go in this direction. And I just would like everyone to be mindful that if there's going to be any decision made, anything other than yay or nay on the raises, you would want to have another agenda item so it was noticed.
Fair enough.
Sounds good. I'll back on just the raises portion. It feels weird to give different amount. I don't know. It's percentage or amounts or whatever on this. I do agree. We've all said that, yeah, there probably needs to be a raise. I mean, I don't know. Can we agree on a number? I guess, does it have to be what they've asked, or can it be
the agenda,
we have the discretion to
the agenda items provide for you guys?
Yeah, exactly. We have the discretion to come up with that. And so I think there's some merit in, like you said, not to change course while what we have right now. So let's talk about that. What would those numbers be? Do we just rubber stamp what's been on there, or do we say, hey, like, here's what we feel comfortable as a business decision to do? I mean, I'm the one brought up, I'll throw it out. I think if we looked at it and said, okay, I don't know what the percentage is, it works out different for each one in there, but if we said $5,000 annual increase for each, it doesn't meet what they've asked, but it meets a raise, I don't know, something along those lines. Open to discussion on that.
I hear you. I don't know, and I guess I'm trying to be Houdini a little bit, because both coming from the school district, we have a very set structure that works well. And I think we can put one in place so this doesn't happen again. But I'm wondering if what you said, there's nothing wrong with what you said. It does say we can say yay or nay. But I hope we wouldn't, this is hard to say. Everybody's tense when it comes to money. We know, Jeanette is right. She cringes when she's got to spend money. But I want to make sure I think we just need to bite the bullet for right now and put what we're talking about into place, because I see anything else sort of changing horses in the middle of the stream. And then I think our conversation,
Well, that's what I'm doing by offering we have, it's a negotiation, and I'm willing to have Mike and Chris and Des come back up and speak on that. But this is the process. This is my counter that throughout. So I think that is part of the process here.
And Mr. Mayor,
please,
if I may, I think that's a very good point, and you made a good point. I know I went through the same process, and so I know exactly what all the employees were told. And I get where you're coming from, where maybe people who didn't ask for raises are kicking themselves, but this was the process that was in place. And I'm not kicking myself. Maybe other people are, but I think that we're also all grown-ups. And the way it was explained to me by the mayor was very clear, what options were there. And we're all grown-ups and people made their decisions. So I appreciate that you would think of that, because that's a thoughtful way to approach this. But on the other hand, it's, the process was the same for everybody as far as I know.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why I'm talking about this idea of 5,000 across the board, which would be 15 in wages. And if you take 50% of that, it's
$750.
So we're in 2250 or 22.5 ish.
tax tag and title is what you're trying.
Sure. Plus or minus some.
You're talking,
All in.
you're talking about with benefits.
Yeah.
You're trying to get to 2250.
I'm doing
Yeah.
a calculation. I should.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
it would be approximately
500.
500.
with the wages and benefits if everybody got 5,000 increased
Annual. And if any of the three want to come up and talk about that, I have no problem. And that's just the first stab at it. I'm okay with it. Wages money's hard to talk about, but we do need to make a process, and this is the process we have right now, and that's what I'm throwing.
So if we'll go this route, if that's a motion,
yeah.
Just one moment. Give me a minute. I'd like to do a motion, and if someone wants to second that, and then we can have each of them come back up to see if that would be agreeable to them, and then go from there. Because we technically need a motion and a second to have further discussion.
I move that we do flat 5,000 across.
Okay.
Second that.
That being the case, I will start with Des if you'd like to come up.
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to be interrupting so much, but are you saying that there's going to be a motion made and then the employees are going to say whether or not they approve? Is that?
We have a motion and a second, and we'll have further discussion. And during that further discussion, we'll talk to them and see if that's agreeable to them.
Okay.
According to Robert's Rules of Order, I believe that's what we should be doing. Please.
I'd like to say thank you for the consideration. And I know I'm asking for 8,000, but I'm on the lower end of my pay scale with over 15 years of experience and 2 certifications. And I think the 72.8, I know it is not budgeted, but I think it is very well justified for my qualifications. And I will, I appreciate the $5,000. I really, truly do. But I honestly think if you look at my wage and you do the comparables, I'm under. So I just wanted to say that.
Okay. Thank you. Mike?
What I was going to say is basically what I was asked was for 58. And it's, it's $800 more. And part of now that I've sat over there and got them really going, I've been here 20 plus years. I've never asked for a raise. I've been given raises through the I've never stood in front of them and said, I want more. But now I am, and I've asked for 58. It's so it's $800. I appreciate the 5,000. I'd probably accept it, but I just think that
But you'd rather
I've been
have
here 20 plus
58,
years.
20 years.
I've been, the only person that has more time than me is Fire Chief Stewart. And
Okay.
almost you do, but I still got more time. I guess Dale has more time. Dale had. So I've showed I'm pretty committed to the city of you.
Thank you. Chris?
Oh, I've heard it and see what it says.
I will gavel the peanut gallery over there.
You know, in defense of my co-partners over here, you know, when you're an exempt employee, you're at will of the commission or council. They can let you go at any time, you know. So when I hear them come up and their time in, it kind of upsetting to me. But for me, you know, I'm working with the county also, so I'm grabbing both sides here, and I'm being tore apart in the middle with this, you know. So other than that, that's all I've got to say. I have to stand up for what's right for myself, but I also feel for them as exempt employees because they're at will. So they're not in the union. They're outside of that. I appreciate you guys. Is there any questions?
I believe the question is, would 5,000 be amenable to you, or would you?
You know,
are you standing on
it's
this?
fine with me.
Okay, thank you. How is the council feeling about that?
Having a business discussion with a merit discussion.
I agree.
So let me throw something else in because they were able to come up and ask what they want. And now I think it's a very big disparity for Ms. Ramirez because it's 1,000 off for one of them, 800 off for one of them, but thousands off for her.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's an issue.
The options available to the council at the moment are call for the vote on the motion that's made, or withdraw the motion and make a new one.
I'd withdraw my second.
I'll withdraw the motion.
Okay. Is there a new motion anybody would like to make? Or further discussion?
Well, I'll move to accept paying these this increase on all of these
as requested.
Individuals as requested.
I have a motion from Councilwoman Van Camp. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Councilwoman Williams Harper. Further discussion? If there's none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh.
Aye.
Aye.
3 in favor, 2 against. Motion passes. I believe that's all our items, and we'll move on to public comment. Public comment.
I want a raise. Not funny. I didn't think it was either. My business community downtown wants a raise. You cut out 65% of our parking. Looks pretty. Cemeteries look pretty. People are dying to get in there. They're not dying to come downtown. There are places that pay more. There are businesses that make more. Unfortunately, you got to live within your means. That's the bottom line, folks. I left off earlier on the CDBG grant. I've yet to receive the water lines and the meter pits. One of my property says you did others. I've yet to receive any information on who inspected the project. I've yet to receive which city department employee requested the meter be changed for the Cal Ranch store, which cost the city $30,000 and approved by your engineer, violation of NRS 354. It wasn't budgeted. Let's come up with the money there. I reported in the past, 351 Altman, no ADA compliance, new project, looking for federal regulations. I put in a request for a copy of the audit of the railroad, and instead I got an audit for years ended December 31, 2023 and 2022. That's not what I asked for. And I was charged $11. That document that I asked for was adopted in an open meeting. It was on the agenda. Somebody didn't give it to me. I want my $11 back and I want the proper budget. Also, on one of the pages that I got, Schedule B, in regards to the Lemich purchase, I'm getting the mixed reviews there. I don't know if it was a purchase. I don't know if it was a gift. But where is page 6 of 9? I can't figure out what is going on. I've yet to receive any information in regards to the encroachment by Mr. Bassett. Who owns Avenue A? Who owns Wreck Brothers Way? What a farce. You don't have compliance on whatever street that is, Avenue A or Wreck Brothers Way. You have simple monies that were spent there. Don't meet minimum code. Here we go again. Don't meet code here. Your curb and gutter has to be of concrete, not riprap. Encroachment on the other areas. Again, you have rules and regulations or you don't. Here's another one. Avenue A is a private road, no parking except for the museum. BS. They come to the city for all kinds of money, and yet they forget to feed them. Mr. Mayor, to date, I'm not.
That's your 3 minutes, Mr. Chachas. Thank you.
That wasn't 3 minutes.
That was 3 minutes.
I want some answers. If I can't get them from you guys, I'll try and get it from a state or a federal source. This is BS.
Is there any other public comment? Hearing and seeing none. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion. Sure.
Motion from Councilman Williams Harper. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Priya. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.